Folks, I have some dire news, and it has to do with Advent of Code. Today is the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, and I have completed only 10 puzzles. This is my own private leaderboard, and I am third from last. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna try and rush the rest of this, and I'm gonna take this whole stream and I'm gonna upload it to YouTube unedited, and we're just gonna be like, this was the end of Advent of Code. But this is kind of funny to me, I know, I knew going into this that I had no chance of taking the first slot, not with Matthew D, who's a Ruby genius and happens to be in Australia, not with that setup. And I was doing good against Sad Moody. I stayed up until midnight a couple of times, and that's how I kept my points up. And he's in New Zealand, and he's also very good at math. But at the end, third from last. So what we're gonna do tonight is I'm gonna try and rush through as many of these as possible. One thing that would have helped is having code spaces set up in advance, so that I could just jump over to code spaces. For those of you who aren't familiar, I have been doing Advent of Code videos all month long. And by all month long, I mean I've created 7 of them. Technically 8, because 7 had to be split into part 1 and part 2. But that's not too bad. I've recorded up to 10 days, but I just got super busy at work and I couldn't finish it. I don't know if I'll finish everything tonight, but I'm gonna try and get as many puzzles done as possible. Let's see. So I've been seeing this error message, but it doesn't take me to it. So the RSpec Ruby test thing isn't working. But what I can do is I can run RSpec on all of these. As per usual, I have a GitHub for this. No. Don't do that. That's too bright. That's too bright even for me, and I'm in an incredibly well-lit room. Anyway, that's what's been happening. I'm gonna do a git status and see if there's anything on here. There isn't. Cool. Then I'm going to check out main, because this is a new repo. And so we use the new name. Derudy says, Merry Christmas! And Carpet Match says, yo, Merry Christmas! And Uncle Scientist says, hey! Hey everyone! Like I mentioned before, I'm gonna try and rush through and complete as many Advent of Code puzzles as possible with your help, because this is kind of sad. Third from the last on my own leaderboard. If I'd checked that sooner, I probably would have done more Advent of Code. All right, let's see. Oh, hello, Ruby. Oh, there we go. Bye, Ruby. I'm just a ladder. All right, cool. So we're gonna git checkout -b. Was I gonna send y'all the repo? I think that is what I was gonna do. And pull up day 11. Yay, here it is. All right, so here's the repo I've been using so far. And what I've done is I've created a file called solution. My branch is up to date. Is that true? Or if I get fetch, is it gonna tell me it's not true? Of course it is. Git reset -- hard origin main. Yes. Derudy says you're not just a ladder, you're the stairway to heaven for the cats, and by heaven I mean their food. Always. I have cat treats and stuff within reach today. They got into the drawer that all their stuff is in and pulled out the box of cat treats and dragged it across the floor but didn't manage to open it, which is why its location has moved. All right, so I have day 11. And what was I explaining? Oh yes, what I have set up. So I created this solution file, right? And what it does is it handles the basic stuff that needs to happen in every single Advent of Code, whatever. It splits the file into an array, it goes through, and it calls this process method, it reads in the file, and it does all of that for me. And it initializes with input and part. So every time I want to initialize with some extra values, I just add them to this. I think if I rewrote this, I'd probably do attribute accessor instead, and then put initialize at the top, but yeah. Drew says, hey, just turned midnight here. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh, Okay, this is nice. I like this a lot. Normally I don't like stream on holidays, so this is kind of fun. Okay, let's see. I'm adding a file. What just happened? Why is everything moving? Oh, because I'm opening and closing folders. That would do it. Okay, let's add a file. There we go. So we're gonna do day 11.ab. Ryan K. Hawkins says, hello, Chill Codes. Hello, Ryan K. Hawkins. Man, everybody's here today. This is awesome. I thought for sure that it would be a ghost town on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Hello and welcome, MJ Random Numbers. Let's see. We're gonna make this text file, and then that's what I'm gonna pull everything into. Cool. And then what I also need to do is I need to make my spec, because I've been doing test-driven development for every single one of these, and it has saved my bacon a couple of times. Like, to be honest, every time I'm like, this should work, I just write some extra specs and the problem's obvious. Oh, right, we're on day 11. Perfect. Failed Sleep says, Merry Christmas Eve. Looking forward to your 18-hour Christmas Day programming game stream. Worth a try. Thank you for following and welcome, Warlock TV. Hey, listen, if like... if we actually manage to like stay awake and like hang out here and like if I'm still alive after like 3 hours of advent of code, maybe. All right, so then what I do is I copy this day 0 because that's basically my template for what I want to do. And I pull in like day 11 and I change this to day 11. And then because I'm using described class, I don't have to change it anywhere else in the file. The one thing is I normally change this to 0 because the hello is weird. And I've started to change up how I handle inputs. Like before I handled inputs as part of process, but what I've started to do is pull input outside of that and actually handle it there because I tend to use input in all of like my helper methods and stuff like that. Megan Chu says, Merry Christmas, Chill! Merry Christmas, Megan Chu! Roller says hello, hello. Rollers, congratulations, by the way. I see you're in 2nd place. Very impressive. Beast Ex Machina says, might bow out. I haven't caught up with you at the beginning yet. Yeah, but you went ahead and like, I feel like this is the smart way to do it, where you like tackled the end problems and just like jumped to there. I think I probably would have been able to catch up easier if I weren't trying to go sequentially, but I'm going to do it sequentially. Ryan K. Hawkins would watch a long stream of Bitburner or Screeps. With Bitburner, I'm like, at a certain point, it's a waiting game. And it's like, what do I do? I can wait for a week, but... DreamX says 9th on the leaderboard. Well, you're ahead of me. Oh, so this is you. Got it. I saw the DR3 and I was like, aw, thank you, dear. It's a pun. Make it to you. It's our Christmas mugs. Beast Ex Machina says it would have been smarter for me to start at day 10 with the drop off, but I've been doing current and catching up from the beginning. You get more points. You get more points that way. Let's see. Roller says I've been trying to get myself to complete day 20 today, but just hasn't happened yet. See, this is why I feel like today is the last day, right? Like today is the day. You gotta seize the moment, charge through, and anything I don't finish, like after Christmas, I gotta let go. Uncle Scientist says, woo, I'm 5th. Okay, so if you're 5th, oh, I was looking at this earlier. Okay, so you're Mark Musante. Okay, I saw this and I was like, if I were Mark, I would be upset. Because Matthew's like rolling up here and he's missing half a day and you're like, I've completed everything, but you're in 5th place. Especially with the Andrea Minitra, like that one I'm just like, oh man, that's gotta burn. Let's see, that's why I'm gonna try and catch up, but I don't know if I'll be able to overtake anybody. Okay, here we go. We got our origin. See, this is why I've been doing it through YouTube. just because I was like, I know I'm gonna end up chatting with people instead of like working. All right, here we go. Day 0, day 11. There we go. And all I do is I swap this one out for 11, and I'm ready to start rocking and rolling. So let's take a look at what today's puzzle is. Sardini says, hi, ma'am. Hello. Let's see. Oh, I'm already here. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like if you haven't kept up with the puzzles, they reward you by destroying your user experience and reordering these in a terrible order. That's kind of fun. Oh no. What is this? Day 11, seating system. Your plane lands with plenty of time to spare. The final leg of your journey is a ferry that goes directly to the tropical island where you can finally start your vacation. As you reach the waiting area to board the ferry, you realize you're so early, nobody else has even arrived yet. By modeling the process people use to choose or abandon their seat in the waiting area, you're pretty sure you can predict the best place to sit. You make a quick map of the seat layout, your puzzle input. The seat layout fits neatly on a grid. Each position is either floor, an empty seat, or an occupied seat. For example, the initial seat layout may look like this. Now you just need to model the people who will be arriving shortly. Fortunately, people are entirely predictable and always follow a simple set of rules. All decisions are based on the number of occupied seats adjacent to a given seat. Oh, this is Minesweeper! One of the 8 positions immediately up, down, left, right, or diagonal from the seat. The following rules are applied to every seat simultaneously. If a seat is empty and there are no occupied seats adjacent to it, the seat becomes occupied. If the seat is... Wait, what? If a seat is occupied and 4 or more seats adjacent to it are also occupied, the seat becomes empty. Otherwise, the seat's state does not change. All decisions are based on the number of occupied seats. The following rules are applied to every occupied seat simultaneously. Floor never changes, seats don't move, and nobody sits on the floor. After one round of these rules, every seat in the example layout becomes occupied. After a second round, the seats with 4 or more occupied adjacent seats become empty again. This process continues for 3 more rounds. At this point, something interesting happens. The chaos stabilizes, and further applications of these rules cause no seats to change state. Once people stop moving around, you count 37 occupied seats. Simulate your seating area by applying the seating rules repeatedly until no seats change state. How many seats end up occupied? Trudy says that's Corona compliant seating. No one wants to sit beside someone. And Germax is like, so it's like social distancing. You sit away from everyone, and when people come sit next to you, you run away. And Beastex Machina says, sounds more like Game of Life than Minesweeper. Okay, I'm a little confused. I've heard this Game of Life thing before. But like, I thought the Game of Life was where you like spin the wheel and you have like people in your car and you get married and you like get a job and a house and stuff like that. And you like travel the board state, and when you get to the end, somebody wins based on points. I'm thinking that's what I thought the Game of Life was. And when somebody mentioned Game of Life to me, that's what I thought it was. Drew says it's the other Game of Life. These next says that's the board game. I was referring to Conway's. And Here's of 9 says it's the board Game of Life. Okay. Sorry, this is Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley. I'd play that game a million times. Let's see. Okay, so I was referring to Conway's. Conway's Game of Life is a cellular automata. Hold on. Just one Google, and then I'll go back to the puzzle. Ah, that's bright. There we go. Explanation. It is a cellular automaton and was invented by Cambridge mathematician John Conway. Okay, each cell with 1 or no neighbors dies? Oh, 4 or more neighbors dies as if by overpopulation. Each cell with 2 or 3 neighbors survives. That's kind of sad. Huh. Okay. Well, it sounds like what we do is we start with a fixed input And we come up with a series of changes and we apply those changes to an intermediate version of the game board. And then that becomes the original version. Because it sounds like this is hard for me to tell, like, what's happening. So wait, L is what? L is empty? Okay, L is empty. So what happens is nobody's sitting down, so all of the seats become occupied. And then they empty, and then more changes. Okay, that's reasonable. Ryan K. Hawkins redeemed hydrate? All right. My straw is no longer attached to my water bottle. This is just how life is sometimes. All right, let's see. Dirty says it's straight up game of life. Like exactly the same, not the board game. I think the, what is it? Like the airport thing? I don't know. I feel like the plane and no, it's a ferry. Okay, no. I thought the airplane would make it very like thematic and holiday, but okay. All right. For you dark mode people, like close your eyes. I'm gonna open up the puzzle input. Oh, that's a big, very long puzzle input. Okay, that's highly unpleasant. Well, I guess all we can do, you can open your eyes again, is get started. Like we know what our input is. We know it's this. Ah. So let's go over to our spec and let's create that as an input. Oh, before I do that though, get status. Sorry. Let me add all of these files. All right, and we'll do git commit -pm setup for day 11. Sorry, Denise says I'm blind. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I blinded you with my light mode. Dreamx says it's a very large plane, and Dirty says it's a big ferry, and Aneurysm 9 says large ferry terminal. I think we all agree, like, this is significantly larger than the majority of the modes of transit that we see on a day-to-day basis. Alright, so here's my input. I'm gonna drop this in. When I look at this, I think that the new lines are important, and I think I'll also, like, take the new lines out. This should be an array. These dots should not separate anything. So this should work? Yes, this should work. And this is what I'll get when I parse this, because it'll parse based on new lines for the first one. And this is expected to equal 37. That's kind of interesting. I think what I need inside of like process is another command that just calculates like seat status. And we can keep this one very simple. Like we start with this process right here. And I think what we would have in this is like a location. So what if we did something like subject described class, because that's going to be our day 11. We say .new, and this is all like rote code that I've written a million times before. Input, let's apply the part. Jeff Caddy says hi. Hi, Jeff. You've dropped in the middle of a light mode description. Light mode fight. Germex says the blinding light wakes you up every time you switch to Chrome. It does. Like I have, what is it? I got a new phone and it has like the Samsung thing instead of Google Chrome. And so like when I go visit like blogs and stuff like that, they're actually black with white text. And I've been kind of like, this is amazing. Seat status. I guess I don't want seat status. I want future seat status. Seat transformation. What if we made this like a 0, -1, 1 situation, like compare operators are, where it's like, if the seat is going to transform, return a 1. If the seat is going to stay the same, return a 0. And then what we'll do here is we'll pass in an X and a Y. Even though what we're actually passing in is the Y for the first one and then the X, right? Because X goes this way and Y goes this way. Yeah, and they have to be positive, so I could do I and J. Georgie says, how long did it take to get code spaces access? I don't remember. I remember that I like reached out to someone and they helped me get code spaces access so I could demo it. And that was like free, all that sort of stuff, but like I don't remember how long it took. Sans Serif says hi. Hey Sans Serif! Sans Serif says, ooh, specs, I love tests. The test-driven development for Advent of Code has been absolutely vital because it's forced me to break things down into really small problems that I can solve. And then when I'm having issues, all I do is I go in and I add some more specs, and it literally like I just edited day 8. I lost the edit because like DaVinci crashed on me. It's a whole big saga. But like I watched myself stuck on a problem, and I'm just reading through the code. I'm looking at the code. I'm like, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. And then what I do is I sit there and I say, you know what? I'm going to make some tests around negative inputs because I skipped that before and I don't know what to do. Within 2 minutes, I found out that it was because I wasn't using double-digit numbers. Because I had taken -99, dropped it in the test, and everything had failed, and it had said -9, and I immediately understood what the problem was. Like, that to me says an enormous amount about how important test-driven development is, and how it can make solving problems like these less exciting and more tedious. Bettel says there's an interesting tidbit in that the input and example are all primed, so you don't have to sim anything? Wait, what? Drew Max says ASC has been very interesting. Spends 20 minutes on a task. Oh, somebody did it in 2.5 minutes? Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, so okay, this is something that's kind of interesting. I'm able to set up like half of my work to create this in advance because I've got this solution over here that does half of the problem for me. Like, I still take an hour to solve every single puzzle, but like, I've got half of my solution here, so I'm able to just work on the logic part of it. I think that's been really helpful. I can only imagine that people that are finishing it in 2.5 minutes have options and scripts and predefined things that they've looked up, things that help them speed up their process. GDG Game Player says, what are you making? I am working on, and this is exciting, Advent of Code. I'm on day 10, so I gotta crunch everything. On content stop. Hello and welcome. Thank you for the raid. Also, thank you for following T-Latitude. All right, so here's what I'm doing. I'm working on Advent of Code. I'm on day 10. We gotta get this thing done and as many puzzles as possible knocked out. I'm looking at seat status, and what I want to do is I want to say context first seat. Perfect. I'm gonna use my existing input, and I'm just gonna let X be 0, and I'm gonna let Y be 0. And what I expect to happen is I want this thing to return. Let's return a 1. I want 1 for the seat will transform to an occupied seat, right? So now what I do is I just go write seat transformation, which is literally just gonna be, let's see. I'm gonna swap this out to say def seat transformation. And I'm gonna say at input. I'm gonna pass in Y first because that's technically my vertical. And then I'm gonna pass in X. And then I guess I need to find out what is around it. Liz the Gray says, hi, I saw your Twitter post and I wanna say I'm cheering you on and good luck. Thank you! I really appreciate that. All right, let's see. So I've got my input XY, and I want to know what it is. So let's say current equals this. Then what I want to do is I want to say, I guess what I need is a method that counts the number of seats around me in order to complete this one. Dang it, I thought I had this. Def count seats, and we'll pass an XY in again. See what I mean about breaking things down? All right, now thankfully for this one, I can just hop over to the spec here and I can literally copy this thing. I can change what it describes. Let's see. Actually, I should change your name. You are now describing an instance method. And you're gonna be count seats. Yay. Hashtag count seats. All right, so for this first one, this is expected to equal 0. Perfect. The loneliness isn't there, though. The loneliness in Conway's isn't there. Failed sleep says stream till you've completed AOC. I mean, maybe. It kind of depends. It kind of depends. Aneurysm says, would it be easier to return the new state for the seat rather than whether it should change state? See, I kind of feel the same way where I could be like true, false for like whether the seat has that state, but I actually do care about whether or not the seat changes state. Like that's actually really important because I want to find out if the map has changed. So I want to set myself up for future success by making the seat transformation change the seat to this, change the seat to that, or there hasn't been a change. Oh. Failed Sleeps is not Advent of Code 2020, Advent of Code 2015 to 2020. I don't continue Advent of Code after the Advent. So this is it. This is my big push. All right, let me see. I feel like there should be a way to do this that's really easy, but the only way that I can think of to do this is literally to look at input. Let's see, y minus 1. Liz the Gray says you might want to not go in sequential order if you're cramming then. I know that it's a little bit, I know it's always troubling, but Liz the Gray says if you're worried that you might not finish, skipping to the most fun puzzles might be a good idea. I don't know what the most fun puzzles are because I don't cheat. I don't read the answers before I start working on it. Let me see. Okay, so what are all of the inputs that I care about? I feel like I can write a for loop for this, but I'm just gonna list them really quick. Let's see. X. Let's see. So like, we've still got y minus 1. Let me put this around the correct one. And then I wanna have like x plus 1, right? Yeah, Aneurysm has a great question. What are the most fun puzzles? Okay, now I know how to write this in a for loop. Let's see. So it's y minus 1. Let's see. Can I do a wow? I thought I did. I was so sure. I thought I had this. Maybe I'll leave it at this. I'm thinking about it. Like, I know how to do this. But the last time I tried to use ranges to like iterate through something, the ranges actually didn't work. Which is why I'm kind of tempted to just throw these in an array. Let's see. And then what we'll do is we'll dot count if Let's see, am I using the new version of Ruby that has all the cool stuff? I think I am. I think I can do _1. Yes. And then it's, what is it? Equal. I don't actually remember. Let's see. L is an empty seat, and we want pound is an occupied seat. Perfect. Yes. Let's see. If I head back over here, when I count seats, I would expect it to be equal to 0. So let's run RSpec. I'm going to copy my relative path right here. And I'm going to just run the spec for this file. Everything failed! Undefined local variable or method part. Perfect. Like I said up here, one of the things I've been playing around with is changing up how I structure my test file. Like, I might have a default part for all of these, and then when I get to part 2, I'll have a context inside each one that describes part 2. Womble Monster says, what does @input do? So input, that @input is a class variable, I think it's called. Or no, wait. @input is available anywhere in the class inside any of the methods. If I go look at this solution, if we look at day 11 includes solution, and over here in solution, what we do is we take the file, we split it based on new lines. We also have a parse line here that optionally changes what's happening. And then what we do is we pass input in as an array. So every time input comes in, it's going to be formatted like from a file to an array separated by new lines. I can also override this. So one of the puzzles required like an empty line between 2 inputs. So I just made that 2 new lines, and then it automatically split it into groups for me. I've also played around with parse line before, but I don't think I need to here. I haven't played around with parse line as much as I would like. But yeah, this should count seeds. And now that I have a part, everything still fails. Undefined method count if. I meant count. Count if. Who uses count if? Nathaniel Bumpo says ranges PTSD? Yeah, I tried ranges somewhere else and like it did not work the way I remembered or expected it to. So maybe I'll just throw some that's why I just threw these into like a quick array instead of like fiddling with 2 different for loops. I'll go back and add the for loops later though. I'm sorry, Aneurysm9, did you say that Crab Combat? Crab Combat might be your favorite this year. That's interesting. Cyber Benny says, I'm pretty sure Excel has count if. Shh, we don't need to call me out. Like, so does Google Sheets. Let's see. Oh, it passed. Look, 61 passed. Okay, so we correctly counted that there were 0. Now what I want to do is I want to add another context here. And this context is going to be occupied seat. Do end. Right here I said let first seat. Actually, that's a really good one because I didn't check like the minuses and stuff like that. Oh, is this gonna break if input is partially filled? Hang on a second. Because in Ruby, you actually can do a negative number in an array, and what it'll do is it'll start at the end of the array instead of the beginning. Thank you for following Wombo Monster. Okay, let's see. X0 input. This is the input. So if I change my input here inside first seat, wait, not transformation. Yeah, this input. And I make this instead of LLL, LL pound. Like in this case, the first seat would still be unoccupied. Does it break? Wait, count seats, undefined method array for nil.nil class? Oh, okay, that makes sense. So what's happening here is this y minus 1, x minus 1 stuff does not handle nulls. But what we can do is we can just use dig, and dig will safely handle that for us and make sure it exists. Oh, this is kind of interesting because we have to make sure that they're positive, not positive numbers, but we have to make sure that they're non-negative numbers. So if they're negative, like we just skip it, I guess? Let's see. I don't want to type this for all of these. I'm gonna copy this .dig. And we'll go, what is it? Is it control? No, is it alt? Alt, there we go. Let's get all of these together. Replace that. Let's get all of these together. Here we go, goodbye 2, comma, space. Then we'll get all of these. Yes. And we'll close the parentheses. All right, so that does dig, but it does not yet handle the case where y is negative. There's gotta be a Ruby method for like this. Because what I don't want to do is the one that I know off the top of my head, which is that. Because that's gross. So everybody says you could just use Alt plus right or whatever it is on your platform. Yeah, it's Alt click for the thing. There's gotta be a better method for this. But if there isn't, I'm not writing that out multiple times. So let's do def. No. Don't judge me! I'm trying to finish things quickly. This is my messy code. My messy code looks like this. Let's see, get input value. Input.dig. These max. Comma 0. I don't think this works though. And here's why. Because what we're actually gonna get is we're gonna get 0. What we need to do is we need to not include those values. Matthew D says, hello, I can't hang around much, but Merry Christmas and or Friday from the future. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Oh yeah, I could do y minus 1, y plus 1 each. See, look at this. You show up for 3 minutes and you have something helpful to offer. Every time, every time. Also, congratulations on your... Sorry, I blinded everybody. Congratulations on your #1 slot on the leaderboard. I had it up earlier. Sardini says, explain this Rails feature, messy code. So the way that I'm handling this by doing this like get input value x, y, there's gotta be a nicer way to do it in Ruby. I think this might help because what I can do is I can say, if I'm doing it this way with an actual each instead of creating an array of all of the values that I have to go through and modify every time I change things, what I can do is I can actually control what's in this array. And then I'll help me deal with it. This is gonna be my y. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, if y is less than y.0. Yeah. Y values. This is so weird. So we'd have y, and we would say y values push push y minus 1 unless y.0 Y values push y plus 1. Haha. See, this is messy code. There's got to be a cleaner, rubier way to do it. Edwin S2Z says, you doing AOC? Yes, I am. And it is crunch time. We are working on day 11. And I don't know if you know, but it's day 24. Ooh, Aneurysm says, careful, you're shadowing Y there with that each. Thank you. That is a good call out. Let's see. Dot each do. Y val. And we'll do Y values. And we're only gonna include this Y plus 1. Unless Y equals at input.length. Yay! -1. Yay! Otherwise it's gonna complain. Vistex Machina says, I plan to finish even if I don't make it, but I didn't start till the 20th. Wait, you didn't start until the 20th and you're already ahead of me? So everybody says, don't you want to have a condition for the Y plus 1 too? Thank you for looking out for me and making that recommendation. Womble Monsters is much neater. It's neater. It's still not appealing. It's still not appealing. Thank you for following Talon the Dragon. I promise you, I swear to you on this day that Ruby has a more elegant way of handling this that I do not know off the top of my head. Let's do X values. X. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry everyone, I'm gonna blind you again, all right? So hang on a second, I'm pulling up the input. Ah, yes, they are all the same length. We have confirmed they are all the same length, so I can just get input 0.length. Whew, okay, that's a thing. Y values dot each do Y values. Values dot each do. This is, I'm making this. Is this clean? Is this actually better? Let me ask that question. Is this actually better than what we had before? Values. Isn't it right? Like, we're instantiating so many objects. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through our X values. And we're gonna literally say at input Y val, X val. No shadowing. Uh-oh. There. Y val. Oh, no. We don't have to dig because we know they exist. Yep. Cool. Lovely. This is better, right? We all agree? So we turned, hang on, 29 to 37 lines into 16 to 28. Mike W says, Merry Christmas, Advent faster. I'm trying. Let's see. Aneurysm 9 says if you use input y.length, but then I'd have to do that for each of them, right? I can do input y, but like I'd have to do that for each. In a second. Dot grep 0 to array.size. Dot each do x minus 1. Wait, what is this in y? Failed Sleep says she's adventing as fast as she can, Captain. Failed Sleep, you just want me to take longer so that I'll spend hours and hours and hours advent of coding. Oh, new y, your y value. Oh, yeah, I got it. Whoa, Syrup King said, hey friend instead of hey broadcaster. Hey friend, what's your opinion on Hotwire? I don't know what Hotwire is. Isn't that a thing you do to a car in GTA? Dorita says, why even write the code by yourself? There's probably a Game of Life Ruby code out there just waiting to be copied from Stack Overflow. Because it wouldn't be my code. It wouldn't be Matthew D's code. Yancy says watching code is a great way to spend every evening. Thank you. I like watching code too. I like creating code with y'all. Okay, that passed the 0, which I like. Now we can take a look at an occupied seat and make sure it counts that correctly. I'm going to control my input in this case. I'm actually gonna... I want to make this a bit longer. I'm gonna use the original input, actually. That's what I'm gonna do. But I need to have some stuff in it. And I want to use something in like the middle of the file. So let's go back to Advent of Code, and I'm gonna steal like, not the second one. How about this third one? Yeah. And I like this one right here because it's in the middle. How many are around it though? None are around it. What? None. You've got no occupied seats around this. All right, fine. Let me find a place to count. How about here? This one's got 3 around it, and it's kind of in the middle. All right, so I'm gonna copy the first 3 lines of this. Here we go. I think I'm all like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my input, blah, 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 and then I'm just like, here we go. Modulo W to make our array of words. Serve King says, hope links are allowed and not to distract you. Wow. Interesting. I like the name of it, Hotwire. Because it feels like what it's kind of doing. Matthew D says, I'm pretty sure you're counting the suit itself as a neighbor, FYI. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. I can't just -1 because I don't know what it's gonna be. Let's see. Oh, Uncle Scientist says it's in the name HTML over the wild. That's very YAML. That's very YAML. Matthew D says it's the DHH's new magic. I see. I see. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at it later. Aneurysm 9 says so it's basically how we've always done web development. I don't know. I haven't taken a look at it yet. I'll take a look at it later. Let's see. For now, I'm gonna figure out how to deal with my XY. I'm gonna sneak up here and go look. Matthew D's code. grep 0 array.size.each do x 1 x. No, that doesn't fix it. We just, you know, this never happened. At this point, y'all know the drill. You know, we don't talk about it. It just, it happens and we move on. And then Aneurysm 9 is old and grumpy. That's okay. Instead of calling this count seats, I'm gonna call this count neighbors because it sounds friendlier and it's more accurate and it kind of nudges you in the right direction. Count neighbors. Count neighbors. Connor Shay, when your plugin works, it's perfect, and when it doesn't, it's very frustrating. Okay. Input, input, input. What is my XY here? I don't wanna, yeah, there we go. Space, space, perfect. I wanted to count this one right here. And this one is, why don't I just count this one? Because I know what that one is. That one's 1. Yeah, that one's 0, 1. And we'll just say it's expected to equal 2. So my X value here is 1. And my Y value here is 1. That's very convenient because if I made a mistake, I won't catch it. 1, perfect. And then it would be expected to be 2. Let's see, to equal 2, perfect. 72 fails, is expected. How about we put an X in expected? Uncle Scientist says, do you mean X value not equal to X? I probably do. Yes, I do. Thank you very much for catching that. Okay, so after having had that accident, I think what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna test that I don't include the current, like, number of the thing. I got 1. That's not good. I'm looking at this one, right? 0, 1, 0, 1. I'm not catching, no, I'm getting the diagonals. Huh. Let's see, well that's when the huhs started. Notice I say huh a lot. Okay, let's see. Pull this one up, add this colon 72, and I'm gonna put a binding.pry here. And I'm gonna put a binding.pry here. $72. Undefined method pry. Well, maybe what I'll do is I will require pry. How do you feel about that? Uncle Scientist says drinking game, 1 sip for every haw. We don't have any eggnog, otherwise I would. All right, so here's the first binding.pry. And what I want to look at is what are my X values? What are, here we go, my X values. They are 0, 1, and 2. Yes? Yes. Yes. That is what I expected. 0, 1, and 2. That is also what I expected. So then if I quit this and I go to, what was it? Values. I have L pound L dot dot. Oh. Yeah, that's supposed to be unless both of these are true. So that's, yeah, that was the actual opposite of what I really wanted there. And this is why we test. It's because we make assumptions. Failed Sleep says sober advent of code until Christmas, then drunken eggnog advent of code till dawn. I like the idea of continuing this until Christmas. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it though. Okay, so what do we have here? We are missing 1. That's good. That's what I like to see. I have, this doesn't look quite right. Let me get my input here. So my input here is pound.l, and that dot appears to be missing. And then it should be pound LL. So that's the pound L. So I've got them, they're just in the wrong order. It looks like. Yeah, because that L's not there. And then it's .ll. Oh, so that should be right. Then is this right? Did I fix it? I fixed it. Look at that. Okay, that's fixed. Perfect. Gonna remove these binding.pries. That's all good. Good. Oh, Uncle Santa says, yeah, because it's 102. Mike W says eggnog is not the best drinking game drink. It's a little too thick to drink that much. That's perfect for me. Shojun says, hey, hello. For now, I have tea with condensed milk. Every time I go, I can take a sip of tea from my oh dear mug. Okay. What is our current status? Our current status is having completed count neighbors. Perfect. This is my current value. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say neighbors equals count neighbors XY. And that should hopefully give me the correct number of neighbors. And then we say if neighbors is greater than or equal to 4 and current equals, oh, do you know what I should do? I should add a guard clause at the beginning, which is just return 0 if, hold on, I should do this after current. I should return 0 if it's the floor. Because the floor never changes, nobody ever sits on the floor. There we go. Now I only have to think about the other two. So if my neighbors is greater than 4 and my current is equal to occupied, then what I want to do is I want to return 1, right? No, I want to return -1. That's unoccupied. Yes. Yeah. So if my neighbors is greater than 4 and my current value is occupied, return -1. On the flip side, return 1, which is occupy the seat, if neighbors is less than, what was it? Let's see. If a seat is occupied and 4 or more seats adjacent to it are also occupied, the seat becomes empty. If a seat is empty and there are no occupied seats adjacent to it, the seat becomes occupied. So that's only if there are no seats adjacent, which means if neighbor.0 and let's see, current unoccupied. No, not unoccupied. L is unoccupied, right? I need these need to be constants, otherwise I'm gonna get them confused nonstop. Okay, so let's go up here and we're just gonna make some more constants up here. We're gonna say empty equals L dot freezeroni. This is occupied. Occupied. I don't know how they expect anybody to remember these. Freeze. Aneurysm 9 says, did you find the Easter egg in a puzzle? There's an Easter egg? Sardini's says sad lactose intolerant noises. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mike W says time to learn. Good luck. Thank you. What? Aneurysm 9 says every puzzle has Easter eggs? No. What? Floor never changes. Floor never changes. Oh. Oh, I guess that's okay. Is that a reference? I don't get it. Oh, aneurysm says they're highlighted for you when you collect all 50 stars. Oh, gotcha. Uncle Scientist says war never changes. Oh, okay, I get it now. I see what happened. Okay. I can go in here now and I can say count if they are occupied. That is such a, like, return unoccupied the seat if the current seat is occupied. Thank you. If there are no neighbors and the current seat is empty, return that. Floor. I love this. Here we go. Let's check out this flower. That's cool. I like that. That's empty. Ah, that's blinding. Ah, that's blinding too. One of those is my fault. I made my site blinding. All right, if neither of these happen, return 0. Only I don't need the return. It's Ruby. Yeah. Perfect. If neighbors are greater than or equal to 4 and current equals occupied, return 1. If neighbors.0, current equals empty, return 0. Okay, so that's the seat transformation. Let's test it. Let's test it without saying 72. Good. Ah, process doesn't do a thing yet, but seat transformation seems to have passed. Let's take a look at that spec. Let's see, seat transformation handles the first seat being occupied. That makes sense. Do you know what I kind of want to do though? I kind of want to have a method that's like, process map. Right? And what this is gonna do is it's gonna take my at input. Yes. Dot each with index. Do I even need to do that? I don't think I do. I'm still feeling anxiety from the ranges earlier. But I'm gonna try it anyway. I'm gonna look at Matthew D's code. Dun, 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 dun. What? It's an array. Array.each. Array.grep. Okay. 0 dot dot array dot size dot each do. I tried that one and it didn't like it. Let's see. 0 dot dot. Let's see. At input dot length dot each do. Let's see. End. And here's what I want this to do. I want this, let's see, so this is gonna be Y. When this is done, I really want it to, is this the same song playing over and over again? No, it's just the same person. Okay. Sorry, I got really distracted there for a second. Do X. What I want to do is I want to call this seat transformation on each one. And we're going to call this temp map. And this is going to be equal to input.dupe. Haha, not going to be tricked this time. Seat transformation XY. Yeah. Result equals if. Is there like a pattern matching thing that would be really good here? If result equals 1. Let's see, at the very beginning of this, I'm going to make a changed equals false. Changed equals true. And the other change I'm going to make is, let's see, temp input X, comma, space Y. Let's see, if it is 1, the seat becomes empty? Is that right? No. Yes. Yes. If it is 1, the seat becomes occupied. else if result equals with an S. If my result equals -1, changed equals true, and my temp input x comma y empty. Perfect. If anybody gets tired of the holiday music, I can swap back to my regular lo-fi playlist. Just let me know how y'all are feeling. Alright, so if my result is 1, it is changed. My temp input xy equals occupied. My changed equals true. My temp input xy equals empty. Nice. So this maps whether or not things have changed. What I could also have done is I could have been like plus absolute value to track the exact number of changes, but for now we'll just use changed false. And the last thing I do is I say at input equals temp map. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here, def initialize, and attribute accessor input. Gonna do some converting. I want to update my solution, but at this point, like, it's gonna take forever. Uncle Scientist says, do you need to set floor? I do not. Floor is always floor. Floor never changes. See, I remembered. All right, cool. Let's see. Self dot input equals input. This initialize needs to match the initialize that we set in the parent. Input part self dot input at part equals part. Now I'm going to search for at input. And let's see, replace, 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 replace. Some of these I can replace with self.input. Replace all. I actually don't need to replace all of these with self.input because Ruby is smart enough to be like, if I've got a class and that class is an attribute accessor named input, I can just call it input. The only place where I need to specify self.input is when I'm setting it, because then it doesn't know if I'm trying to create a new variable or if I'm trying to replace it. That's supposed to be 1 equal, not 2 equal, so I'm glad I caught that. Let's see. That doesn't need a self. I guess I only needed self in one place, now that I think about it. So this is kind of a waste. Let's see. Yeah, next year I'm definitely going to use these as attribute accessors instead of the other one. And the reason that I want to modify input in this way is because I want to make a new describe end. Lovely. I want to go in here to describe process seat map. Yes. Subject. Let's see, and we'll say described class dot new input comma part dot process seat map. And I literally want to go through here and see, do I get the same seat map out of this that I got from the last one? So we're gonna say it updates the seat map. And then inside here, I just want to do, I've been using described class for this. For this one though, I need to say let instance. That's what I did in the last one. In my last one, I started to play around with adding this instance thing, where I was like, hey, this is what this is. And then what I have to do is when I use instance, I come in here and I do instance dot input dot to equal. Yeah, because I don't want to just check that this returns the correct thing. I want to check that this input has been updated. Floor never changes. I'm gonna tweet that after this. I'm literally gonna tweet and be like, floor never changes. That's the picture in the PR. That's gonna be it. That picture right there, aneurysm. I'm putting it in the PR. Okay. If I go over here to Advent to Code, after one round of these rules, you get this. Let's see. Modulo W. Yes. 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 Context. Oh, that's quite lovely. And let's call this second round. And what we can do in this one is we can have a let here, and we can make our input this. Is this one of the ones that took forever? This feels like it would take forever. I keep seeing messages about people that are like, oh my gosh, my code took this long to run. And every time I run mine, I'm like, I know people have been talking about Ruby being slow, but like, I'm not seeing it. Cause like, I haven't hit that yet. I haven't run into it. And I don't know. I keep waiting. I keep waiting for like hours long execution times. Durant says, let's see. Oh. Uncle Scientist says there are puzzles coming up that are very slow unless you come up with a non-obvious solution. I keep hearing about those and I keep waiting for them. I haven't hit one yet. I guess it's because I'm only on day 10. Alright, so this is the second round. I want to see this one. Yeah, so most of these become empty, but not all of them. Okay. I want to run these and see what happens. Oh. Ah ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Attribute. Undefined method 2 for array. Oh dear. That might be because I didn't add an expect at the beginning of either of these. How about we expect this? Oh, I need to call my subject. I could just do the is expected because it will be returning my input. I just, like, I want to extra check. Named blah blah blah. Oh, let's see. Aneurysm says day 10 was probably the first one that required optimization to get a reasonable runtime. That might have been obvious depending on your past experience. Hitakari says, I'm wondering if Ruby 3 will be available at midnight. I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't have any problems with day 10. So for day 10, what I did is I thought about it the whole time in like a break down the program into separate, like smaller parts. So like for me, that one never tripped me up. Undefined local variable or method temp input. Did you mean temp map? Yes, I named these two different things. I named them the same thing. Temp map. Ah, yes, I named them the same thing at the beginning and end, but then I wrote the incorrect thing in the middle. Yes, that's... Anyway, what we get? What we get this time? Undefined method, this for nil.nil class. That's lovely. Inside seat transformation. I guess this is the first time that we're running more than one. So current equals input x, y. There's an easy way and a hard way to do this. I think I'm gonna take the easy way. Let's see, undefined method for no class. All right, what is 74? 74 is process heat map. Oh, I made some more. Okay, that makes sense. What was 47? I want to check and make sure I had the right one. Yes, I do. Process heat map. Perfect. I'm gonna go in here to seat transformation. Binding dot pry. Perfect. What's my X? What's my Y? Oh, that's such a surprise. Wait. Wait. Count Neighbors already handles this. Hang on a second, hang on a second, hang on a second. What is X? X. How long is this thing again? 3. What is input the Y dot length? Thank you for following. Un pounds no sautient? Sorry, French is not my strong point. Jerung says line 33, temp map x comma y equals empty. Temp map. Ah. Yes, that would do that. That would do that. Also, these are in the incorrect order. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, since we're starting to play around with things like this, do I have, let's see, Shift P, line? No, what's it called? Twitch, what? Control Shift P. Oh, I can't turn on the Twitch highlighter because I'm in code spaces. That's right. That's right. Oh, hang on. Can I? Twitch highlighter, Twitch highlighter. This is something from Clarkio. Would someone like to do a shout out for Clarkio? So Clarkio allows y'all to highlight my lines. Unfortunately, it's really unattractive by default. I have it set to something nicer inside of my actual like VS Code version, but I don't know what that is, and it's gonna take a little while, so I'm not gonna do it. But I am going to, nope, what are you doing? Okay. Twitch highlighter, sign into Twitch. Open. Magic. That's hurtful. Oh well. Oh! Love Armanda says unattractive by default. I can relate. No! Oh no! Don't be mean. Hang on a second. Did we figure out what it was? We did. It was the XY thing. Yes. I don't know why day 5 is opened. Okay. Here we go. Did I remove my binding net prize? I really don't like having a binding net prize on seed transformation because it's gonna run a bajillion times. One failure. Undefined method this for nil.no class. Line 41 in seat transformation. Line 41, YX. This has to be us exceeding Y. Dot. Is that it? There's one that like includes the final number and one that doesn't include the final. Oh, hey, look at that. That's nifty. I got the wrong answer, but that's nifty. What's this? Okay, I expect my instance.input. I got the opposite of what I want. Oh, Uncle Scientist says line 30 and line 33 is still bad though. Thank you. This is so much faster. Like, I know we faff about, we chat a lot, but this is much faster. That is, This is the first one, so it's just supposed to replace everything. And it didn't. Which makes me think that what's happening, because we tested like seat transformation a little bit, that makes me think that we're not actually using temp map or temp map. Look, here's what I think is happening. I think temp map, even though I put input.dupe, is secretly input. So I'm gonna do temp map. Okay. Input. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say temp map. No, wait. Let's just call seat transformation XY on 0, 0. Matthew D says temp maps elements are secretly inputs elements. What? It doesn't do like a double dupe? Gosh darn it. Let's see. Parsons, perhaps we were the ones who were duped all along. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, is I'm wondering if it's a shallow copy. Let me go look at the original answer. Okay, so this first one gets occupied, this third one does not. Let's see. Oh, right, I was gonna go look at, now that I've done seat transformation, we would do temp map 0, 0 equals, not equals, occupied. Great. And now I would get input. Okay. Deep dupe. Deep copy. Ruby. Deep copy dupe. Dupe versus clone. Did you know that you can copy an object in Ruby, but there are two different methods? Why would you want to clone an object? You can change them. If you want to change an object but keep a copy of the original, then you can clone it. Uh-huh. I see. Clone. I got tripped up on this before. I thought I had tackled it, but apparently not. Okay, here we go. Matthew D says you don't need infinite depth. Map and dupe. Uncle Santa's is over here making a song. Dupe, dupe, dupe. Let's see. So doing temp map. What? Oh, that's because I misspelled it. Temp map. Lovely. See transformation. 0, 0. 1. Lovely. Let's see, temp map. I don't need to go through all of these steps. I really just needed this one. Occupied. Lovely. Now I do temp map. That looks like I want. Fudge. Thank you for following, Marak. Thank you, Matthew D. Okay. Let's do just the test. Temp map 0 0 equals occupied. Input. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There we go. And it runs flawlessly. Now what happens if I run more than one? 35 and 10 fail. That's lovely. Perfect. Lopar Panda says, I think I got distracted on like day 4. I wonder if I can catch up by midnight. Try Lopar Panda. The worst that can happen is you'll complete several puzzles. That's how I feel. Matthew D says, Deep Dupe is added by active support, so you don't have it here. Yep. That makes sense. I feel like Clone should do it. I agree, Ruby. Ruby says she'll support it soon, she promises. Lopar Panda says, but I'm working on an overlay snowball fight game featuring cats driving snowball tanks. Cats fighting snowball tanks, like that 100% tops Advent of Code. That sounds cute. Turing says I could just do JSON.parse, JSON.generate input. That would work. That would do it. Okay. I am here. What I need to do is when I look at this spec, I have an expected answer of 37. Now, I'm over here in process. My process seat map updates input, and then you know what it returns? It returns whether or not something changed. Can I just... Is this legal? Can I legally do this? Or is it gonna fuss at me? Does it make me pass the due end? Okay, I'm gonna find out. But what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna like, I don't know. I need something that counts all of the like stuff in input. Input dot count. Where is it? When equals occupied. Yay. Save. Aww. Expecting end. Can I do well? And aww. Expecting do. Can I do this? Yeah? Aww. It's not taking like, it does not appreciate anything that I am offering here. Listen, I want to do inappropriate things with this while loop. Ooh, okay, while this end. Teach Daniel says, big fan. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Teach Daniel. It's nice to see you. I've been enjoying your Minecraft streams. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Okay. Pluses, positives here. We ran the while loop. We didn't run the while loop. we ran something. That did not appear to work the way that we wanted it to work. No. There's no way. It's not gonna let me do this. Oh, it doesn't let me do it. Let me put up a binding nut pry here. No. I'm gonna put 2 binding nut pries. I'm gonna put a binding nut pry here. And I'm gonna put a binding nut pry here. How's this? Alright, let's see. What happens? Which one did you go into? That's what I want to know. Hold on, let me lift this. There we go. In line with my head. Oh, it never runs? What? What? No. No. Process seat map. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Okay, here's what I am thinking. This clause is supposed to run process seat map to find out whether it's true or false. Changed will be false. I know that we changed something here, which means at the end, when we return change, we should be returning true from process.seatmap. So the while loop should operate again. Let go of me, Ruby. Ruby. There you go. Yeah. Lopar says not this clause. Come on, Rubes. I am not a ladder. I don't... He says I confused. Yeah, I don't... This should work. This should work. You know what? I'm gonna reach around you, Ruby. This should work. That's what I'll do. Do you know what I'll do? I'm in here. False! What's input? What? Hang on, what? Input is empty. Input is empty. Input is right here. Which one are we on? Which one are we on? Hang on a second. Oh, we ran the first one. We ran the first one and there were no changes because there was no input because it's an empty file. Okay. Yep. Things are still going according to plan. We go into this. Again. Input is changing, which I appreciate. Oh, here we go. Input at the end. Is that right? Does that look right? Let's see, what do we have here? Pound.pound, L.L, pound.pound. Ah, sorry. Pound.pound, L.L, pound.pound. That looks right. If I quit here? Well, I got 0. How did I get 0? For like 35? Wait, what? Day 11's back, 35. Part 1, it is expected to equal 37. I should have run this. Let's run 36. Where am I? Just quit. Quit. Did I... Quit? It's not supposed to take this many, is it? Alright, that's it. exit, exclamation mark. I'm gonna go back into day 11. I'm gonna remove this binding.pry on change because we found out that that works. I'm gonna remove this binding.pry, replace it with a nil. And now we're gonna jump straight to this binding.pry and we're gonna be able to say what is input.count -1 equals occupied. Thank you. This is very strange. Matthew D says input contains rows, not seeds. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Bop, 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 bop. This is one of those places where I try and use reduce again and it doesn't work. Dot sum. Can I do another little curly brace in here? I think I can. And then I can do, what is it? _1 dot 2a dot count. Is that it? Maybe. There's a way in the Ruby string library. Apologies to those of you who used to document. Oh, cares? Control F. The cars. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you. Cars. Let's try it again. You did not like that at all. Sum _1.cars.count _1 occupied. What's this? You didn't like it? Numbered parameter is already used. Oh no. Can I use 2? You don't like it. Matthew says or string.count. Ooh, I can do string.count. Yeah, I do count. How does that work? Count. The light, it burns. Okay, so I just need to pass the character to it. So I can literally just do count occupied, and that completely gets us around our like argument thing, so we don't ever have to think about it. That's my favorite way of dealing with problems, getting around them. Till man does not code, says Dear Streamer. Merry Christmas to you and all your family. Thank you, Tillman does not code. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Cars. Little Parpianda says cars. How am I supposed to say them? Am I supposed to say them chars? Then you'll start talking about Charizards. Chars. Cars. Cares. Cares. Oh, I might call them cares. My favorite feature of JavaScript is the cuddled else, purely because it's called a cuddled else. It's not unique to JavaScript by any means, but I like it. Yay! We got a 37! Yay! Okay. I have a trick that I've been using. What I do is I grab this input and I drop it into my day11.txt. And then over here in my spec, what I do is I say to my entire part right here, I say I expect this to equal the result from that one, and that tells me whether the entire thing runs correctly, beginning to end. Uncle Santa says, I just say chars. I don't... That was a good one. Alright. Close your eyes, light mode folks. Or light mode avoidant folks. I literally, when I swap to that, my entire face changes color. Alright, here we go. Look at all that! Okay. This is the one where it's gonna give me trouble, right? Oh, it's running. I have no idea how it's doing. Himitsu Monban says, so it's basically an integration test. Are we supposed to call them feature tests now? I like the integrate. Oh! Mine returned really quickly. I thought this one was supposed to be slow. Well, I don't know if it's the right answer yet. Hey! That's the right answer! You're 1 gold star closer to saving your vacation! Haha! Thank you so much, Uncle Scientist! Uncle Scientist cheered 300 bits for finishing part 1. Yay! Oh no, aneurysm, I love that one with the little hands and the star. Oh, that's cute. Okay. As soon as people start to arrive, you realize your mistake. People don't just care about adjacent seats, they care about the first seat they can see in each of those 8 directions. Now, instead of considering just the 8 immediately adjacent seats, consider the first seat in each of those 8 directions. For example, the empty seat below would see 8 occupied seats. This empty seat would see 8 occupied seats. The leftmost empty seat below would only see 1 empty seat, but cannot see any of the occupied ones. Why? Why can you see the 8 occupied seats? They're before and after you. The leftmost empty seat below would only see 1 empty seat. Oh, is it because you go 1 to the left, occupied, 1, 2, occupied, 1, 2, occupied, 1, 2, 3, occupied, 1, 2, 3, 4, occupied. Oh, it's in each direction. So you skip floor seats to find the next occupied seat. The empty seat below would see no occupied seats. Thank you for following, Lynchkin. Communicore says, nice, thank you. The empty seat below would see no occupied seats. Because if you go this direction, it's empty. If you go this direction, it's empty. If you go this direction, it's empty. This direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction. Also, people seem to be more tolerant than you expected. It now takes 5 or more visible occupied seats for an occupied seat to become empty, rather than 4 or more from the previous rules. The other rules still apply. Empty seats that see no occupied seats become occupied. Seats matching no rule don't change, and floor never changes. Given the same starting layout as above, these new rules cause the seating area to shift around as follows. Blah, 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 blah. Again, at this point, people stop shifting around and the seating area reaches equilibrium. Once this occurs, you count 26 occupied seats. Given the new visibility method and the rule change for occupied seats becoming empty, once equilibrium is reached, how many seats end up occupied? Yay! This one's easy with the way we've written it. All we have to do is modify seat transformation. No, not even seat transformation. All we have to do is modify count neighbors to look at the neighbors in each axis. And we have to adjust seat transformation to see this number right here. And that's really easy. All we have to do is go in here. Hang on. Before I modify anything else, let me commit part 1. Git commit-pm part 1 for day 11. Yes, I would like all of that text. Yay. Yes, please. Thank you. One tiny thing. Did I actually add... Oh, no, I did not. Okay, let me run rspec really quick. Oops. Rspec this file. Copy relative path. Run. Run. There we go. 2427. And what I'll do is I'll hop in here and I'll replace that 37 with that. And we'll just really quickly say git commit -p -amend -no edit, and nobody ever has to know that we forgot this line. Perfect. Flawless history. Now, when part 2, let input, let part 1. How lovely. Context, when part 2, what's the answer? The answer is 26 occupied seats. Curly braces is expected to equal 26. And right now, that fails. Let's see. Where do I need to start? I could start with process seat map, but I think seat transformation is actually where I want to start, right? Or maybe count neighbors. Yeah, count neighbors is where I want to start. So let's make a context block in here, and we'll say part 2. And we'll say let part 2. Curly braces 2. And we can even set this input very specifically. So we can go let input, and then we can go swipe their inputs. I like swiping their inputs. So if we go over here, I can literally, let's see, I can take this entire input and I can say that I expect the answer to be 8. It is expected to equal 8. Perfect. Now we make that happen. We hop right over here to day 11. And all I have to do in count neighbors is right now my Y values and my X values and all that jazz are this. But what I actually need to do now is I would say if at part equals 1, these are my X, Y, etc. values. And I go through each of them. I wonder... What I'm really looking for in this case is the first occupied or unoccupied seat. So it's almost like I can separate this into def count immediate neighbors. Yes, XY. And def count first neighbor. Because these are going to be completely different now that I'm looking at this. Right? Because I'm not going to do like values.count one occupied. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to search the area around it until I find, and we'll do count immediate neighbors. There we go. And we do at part equals 1, true, count immediate neighbors, else count first neighbors. Yay. Copy. Paste. And then what we do is we start at X and we try to find the first one in that direction. Igor Silveira, hello! It's nice to see you. Hey, Merry Christmas, everyone. Here in Portugal, we're already done with Christmas Eve, 2 a.m. Drop by for best wishes. Thank you! Happy Christmas Day! Beast Ex Machina says, and I've managed to finish a day after starting to watch the stream. It helps if you submit the correct item out of the values you calculated. Aww! Also, Jarunk, thank you so much for answering Lynchkin's question about what I just did. Yay. Everybody's chatting and being friendly. Okay. I think I want to go in directions, right? Like I have my X and my Y, and I want to get a value, and I want to be going in a direction, right? So what I'd do is I'd say, well, Because there's a couple of things that could cause me to reach an edge. While x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0, and input, I guess it's greater than or equal to. Well, no, it's greater than, because, well, no, greater than or equal to. Yeah. Well, x is greater than or equal to 0, and y is greater than or equal to 0, and input x, no. Input y, x, if I made this a while loop, like I'm going in a direction. This is how I travel, right? And I would say like input, maybe bound equals false. Igor Silvier says, cat is MIA. How can we redeem cat attention time then? When people redeem cat attention times and the cat is MIA, normally what I'll do is I'll pull out treats or I'll summon Ruby. Ruby is actually pretty summonable. Ruby! Where's my Ruby? Ruby! Here's the thing though, Ruby kind of knows when I'm streaming and she gets a little skittish because she doesn't want to be scooped up. She doesn't like her belly being touched. Let's see. So that's what it is. It's whether she wants to come more than like she wants cat attention time. Lopar says maybe she needs a little overhead cat train. A little Ruby on rails. Aneurysm redeemed to cat attention time, so we're gonna take a break. Oh, you won't come for your name, but you'll come when I pull out treats. Are you greedy, Ruby? Hey, Pearl. Yeah, both of you show up. Ow, 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 ow. That's my leg, baby. Okay, honey, I know. I gotta trim your claws. Easy. I know, honey. You got stuff. Come on. Easy. You gotta go forward, not backwards. You gotta go forward. There you go. Come on. Yeah, I'm not a tree. She tried to climb me, and I'm wearing like yoga pants. And yours says, please tell me the other cat's name is spelled Pearl. It is. Hey, Pearl. Are you first to show up? There you go. Hey, sweetie, you want a treat? Ruby. It's okay, baby. Did you have a rough time? Yeah. I put it here. You can do any acrobatics? No? You're just gonna get treats? Why not you dropped it? What are you gonna do when I put the treats back in the bucket? Yeah, Pearl is such a good girl. Oh, did you want the treats in my hand? Is that what you wanted? You don't want snuggles or attention. You just want treats. Ruby, can I pick you up and give you treats? Hey, baby. I know. You're a little skittish, aren't you? Yeah, it's okay though, honey. Oops. Here we go. Did your sister swipe all the treats? No, you found one? Like, here's another one. I'll get you more treats. There's a whole box. Yeah. I have more treats. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. You don't have any treats in this hand. They're in this hand. They're in this hand. Ruby, what's the best language? Ruby or JavaScript? That's the wrong choice! You're supposed to pick your name! It's in my hands! It's not on my fingertips! She's having a hard time, girl. Do you have a hard time? Big girl. Oh yeah, They're very cute. Oh, Dira J. Panaganti redeemed cat attention time. Alright, we'll put an extra minute on. Igor says, I didn't know cats liked treats like dogs. I should get a cat. I like my cats. My cats are very sweet. So the way that I found my cats is actually in my previous apartment. This mom who was, her name was Ida, and she's a Russian blue, and she's like this gorgeous silver color, was very friendly, and she'd come to our house all the time and beg for food. But every time we gave her food, what she'd do is she'd go get her kittens and she'd get them to eat first. And like, hey, don't bite me. And that's where I got my girls from, is their Ada's kittens. Yeah, you can bite me? Why you can bite me? So yeah, we just found them on the street. Yeah. Ruby was super skittish when we first adopted her. She was like she wouldn't talk to anybody. Hey, what's wrong? Do you not want to be a pet right now? Do you feel baited? Did you think you were gonna get treats and instead you got pets? Are you mad at me? I'm gonna eat my finger. It's not edible. I'm sorry, Ruby. Are you still mad at me? You're not mad at me? You don't want me to pet your sister? Bye, Ruby. Aneurysm says Ada's a very fitting name for the mother of programming languages. I like that. Yes, that is so true. Hi, Papa Smurf of Death. It's nice to see you. All right, let's see. Here we go. Himitsu Manban says QT is obviously the superior cat name. Papa Smurf of Death says Merry Christmas. I probably won't stay long. It's nearly 2 a.m. and Santa might see me. Did you leave out cookies and milk? Let's see. Okay. Here's where I was. I was looking for the first neighbor that I found. While x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0, and my input xy. I'm thinking about this. My input xy does not include occupied found. So if I do occupied empty, oh no, I can just say my input xy equals my floor. Yeah. Yes. Then what I can do is I can go in a direction. So I would say x minus 1, y minus 1, and that's gonna handle this direction, right? Yes. So I'd say x minus equals 1, y minus equals 1, and then I'd check. And then what I would do, count first neighbors. I would see what is input xy. I guess I need the rest of these too. I kind of need like an out of bounds method. Right? Like pass in x comma y. And let's see. X is greater than or equal to 0, or x is, wait. X is less than 0, or x is greater than input y dot length. Yeah. Return true if x is less than 0 or y, or x is greater than input y dot length. Return true if y is in the same case. Yes. where y is greater than or equal to input.length. Else return false. And that can just be a false. Thank you for following Jan Pablo MK. Igor Silviera says, what does guide the raid redeemable do? So at the end of my stream, if you want to decide who I go raid, you can redeem that many channel points to decide who I go raid. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Out of bounds. Thank you for following Himitsuman Band. Wow. Not out of bounds. And input xy equals floor, continue. If add bounds. Yeah. Then I want to return 0. It's almost like I need to go in a direction, right? Like I need an X, Y in a direction. Igor Silvier says, whoop, nice. I may use that sometime on my channel when I'm going live. I just hit affiliate yesterday. Congratulations. I saw that you were 2 followers short. Thank you for following Finesse and S. Let's see. Return 0 if it's out of bounds. Otherwise, return input y x equal. What's the word I'm looking for? Occupied. I'm so glad I made those constants. If this is occupied, it's 1. Otherwise, it's 0. Yeah. Go in this direction. Let's see. And I think what I can do is I can put like a yield here. Yeah. And then we'll do like def travel to neighbor. Count neighbor. Neighbor. X comma Y. And then I can take all of this and throw it in there. Let's see. Neighbor count. Sure. Then SNS says, happy holidays, everyone! Happy holidays! Let's see. So count first neighbor. Okay, if I do... I have not put enough specs behind this. But if I do neighbor count... Uh-oh. End. X comma space Y. Do end. X minus equals 1. Y minus equals 1. Then that goes in that direction. Yes. 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 There's gotta be a cleaner way to do this. Than just running this 6 times. And I feel like we've even gotten to that point before. maybe with this y values, instead of doing y minus 1, if we... Yeah, we can make these positive or negative. Ooh. I want to keep the yield because I think it's pretty. Papa served us his right, peeps. I'm off. Have a lovely time and stay safe. Good night, Papa Smurf of Death, and happy holidays. CM Griffin G is raiding with a party of 47. Hi, Mr. Demon Wolf. Hello, everyone else. Hi, Hero Draw. Hello, Lycan. What I am doing? I am playing Advent of Code. I'm trying to catch up. I'm on day 11. We've been live for 2 hours, and I'm on day 11. I started on day 10. What we've got right now is I'm counting my first neighbor in a specific direction. And I've got this yield block right here, which is gonna give me, hold on, I don't need this return, it's Ruby. Which is gonna give me my neighbor direction. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 1, 0, -1 dot each do, and that's gonna be my y val. Yeah. Yes. And then I have the same thing for my x values inside this. Only now they're x values. And then what I can do is neighbor count. And I'm gonna pass in xy because that's where I start, right? Like that is my starting location. And then I'm gonna pass in a block. I guess I do need the do end. And I'm gonna do x plus equals x val. And I'm gonna do y plus equals y val. Yay! CM Griffin G says, are you using the new version of Ruby? I'm curious about the differences. So there's a new version of Ruby that comes out on Christmas Day called Ruby 3.0. I don't know exactly what time it's gonna come out. That version introduces a couple of new awesome features, one of which is you can, if you choose to, supply static typing to harden your Ruby classes, and that happens in a separate file. Another thing that I'm really excited about is this right here, where instead of defining argument parameters, you can just pass them. And I think there's a couple of other nice to haves in Ruby as well. But yeah, those are some of the big ones. They also made some changes to like how params are handled. So for example, it used to be that you'd be like, here's a value, like here's a keyword param. And then if you throw a hash in at the end, it'd be like, cool, I'm just gonna pull that out into keywords, no worries. Now they want you to be more explicit about that. A lot of what Ruby is doing right now is becoming a little bit more explicit about everything that it does. Thank you for following, Kisu Cox D. Himitsu Monban says, I heard the new Ruby VM in 3.0 is fast as heck. Oh yeah, Ruby is much faster now. That's another big change. I think one of the things that's really exciting also is they're introducing ractors, which are basically going to be like little multi-threaded processes. I can't believe I forgot about ractors. Also, it looks like I'm actually running out of space. Give me like half a second. Also, CM Griffin G, what were you up to on your channel? Lopar Panda says Raptors. That's what I thought too when I heard the name. I was like, that is such a good name. Like, it's so descriptive. Let's see. I've got some old videos. I can delete all of these. Perfect. That should free me up enough space. Is this one? I got one more I can toss. That's clearly a bit burner. Perfect. And it's already been moved, so all I have to do is delete it. Okay, that should give me enough space to record the rest of the session. Let's see, CM Griffin G says, just making a statically hosted feature flag system. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's what you were doing last time too, right? Lopar Panda says, is that like Fibers but cooler? I think it's similar. I haven't played with it yet though, so no promises. Okay, so this does x plus equals xval. If we add a negative number, it's still gonna be a subtraction. So that should get us all of our neighbors. I wanna take a look at the specs that we've written for neighbor count. We wrote a neighbor count spec. That's a good start. That's a good start. Let me run this spec and see what happens. Himitsu Manban says, you seem to have VS Code embedded in your browser. How does that work? I am currently using Code Spaces by GitHub. In GitHub, you can host a little VS Code instance, and it costs less than most subscription services. Hirodra1423 says, I'm totally new to that task and even Ruby, just wondering whether it's really right to change the x and y, maybe neighbor count x plus xval, y plus yval. So the first version of this that we had, we were passing a static value, right? Like we did x plus 1, y minus 1, and we looked one box around it. This one, what it actually does is it searches, it searches until it finds its nearest neighbor. So for example, this seat right here is only gonna see this one. It's not gonna see the rest of them. This seat right here isn't going to see anybody because it looks in these directions, so it doesn't see any of the other seats. This one right here is gonna see this seat, that seat, and all of the rest of them. Like it's gonna see all 8 seats because it hits the first one. So what we're doing right here is instead of passing like x plus xval one time, this is actually a block that runs inside of neighbor count. And what it does is it says, while we're not out of bounds, keep running this until we find something that isn't the floor. Or if you're out of bounds, return 0. If you find something, send 1 back, otherwise send 0. So that's kind of what this does, is it goes and it finds your nearest neighbor. And that's the reason that we're passing it as this x plus equals y plus equals instead of passing like 1 param. Herodra says, cool, thank you for that good explanation. Of course. Lopar Panda says they haven't invited me to the beta for that. I'm sorry. DEFCON 201 Live. Hello and welcome. What were you up to on your channel? Let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing today. I'm playing Advent of Code and I'm on day 11 and today is day 24, so that's exciting. Thank you for following DEFCON 201 and Hirodra 1423. Igor Silviera says, had a great time here, but now it's sleep hour past 2 a.m. Happy holidays, everyone, and catch you later. Bye! All right, that did not work. Undefined method greater than or equal to 2 for 1, 0, -1 array. That wasn't quite what I expected to see. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to find our neighbors. We're playing Advent of Code, we're on day 11, and we are currently working on finding these neighbors, which could be anywhere along that path. And what we tried doing was we tried passing this yield, but for some reason it's told us that we're checking against an array, which is not really what I expected. I expected to have 1 as my y value. So I guess we have to poke in and find out what's happening. Undefined local variable or method x. For our spec, neighbor count xy, so that's gonna call this one up here. Out of bounds xy, out of bounds xy. Let's see, so I'm gonna check 42 first. I wanna find out what's happening on line 42. Let's see. eToken says, just a question, what's being built? Just tuned in. Advent of Code day 11. I can't reread the whole puzzle, but what we're trying to do right now is we are trying to turn this map, which is going to look in every single direction, and return the number 8. We're trying to get this test to pass. And right now, this is not the one that's failing. This is the one that's failing. 137 is failing, but also 42 is. What is 42? Let's see. 42 is running part 2 and expecting it to equal 26. Okay, that's not bad. So undefined local variable or method x for this. Count neighbors xy. And it looks like that's happening in line... Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run just 137, and I think we can put a binding.pry in there to find out what's happening. The problem is it's not telling me where in this we're running into an issue. Now I can tell you right now that we are running just count neighbors, and we're running it for part 2. Nope, sorry. So if I look at this, and I look at neighbor count, found equals false, while out of bounds. Count first neighbors, neighbor count. You know what, I don't have a separate spec for neighbor count. And that feels like something that I should have a spec for, instead of just going through all of them. So let's do that. We're trying to do test-driven development, but I got a little ahead of myself with this count neighbors one. So let's describe neighbor. Wait, do I have a count neighbors and a neighbor count? I do. Wow, that is just stunning. Also, it looks like we're not using this found equals false, so I'm going to go ahead and take that back out. Input yx equals 4. Yield. X plus equals return if out of bounds xy. Am I shadowing my xy here? I hope not. Ooh, is this understanding that it needs to be x plus equals xval? Ooh, this could be a context issue. Swarm Collector says, 42 is the answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything. Fancy. Boogie Lightning says, also the sum of a 6-sided die? Really? Huh. E-Token says, wish I more understood how cool this stuff is. Keep rocking it. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, E-Token. Sorry I couldn't explain what's happening. Geeky Girl Sarah says, Merry Chaelmas Eve, all. Merry Chaelmas. Six plus 1 is 7. Oh, yeah. 5 plus 2 is 7. Yeah, 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 times 3 is 24. 7 times 3 is 24. That's not 42, is it? No. No. Okay, hang on. I think my problem here is that my x value is not being incremented. I think this yield was too fancy. I think I should have passed an x val and a y val and added that each time instead of like trying to do this. But before I give up on it, I do want to try and run this at least once. Because I don't get to use yield blocks very often, and they're very cool. Described class dot new input part dot neighbor count xy, and then we're going to pass a block into this, and that block is going to be x plus equals 1 semicolon y plus equals 1. Let's see, do I have an input at this point? Yes, my input is my base input. I do not have an x or a y. So if I let x, do you know what? I actually want to take this one right here. Hang on, let me take this whole input. Yes, I'm gonna take this whole input. My XY value here, what is it? It's 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 4, 3. So 3. Let y. This is the first time we're actually testing my ability to do this type of math. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Before this, they've all been like centrally placed. Mm-hmm. That feels right. That feels right. And I would say it is expected to equal 1. There we go. Let me save this. Let me run this. Instead of 137, we're going to run 155. expected 1 and got 0. Interesting. Okay. This is the same in every direction. So the first thing that I want to check is I want to check where my XY is and what my XY is. So let's do a binding dot pry here. And then down here, I'm gonna call this, and I'm gonna say, what is input Y X? L. So that is the correct one. L is the only unoccupied one. Geeky Girl Sarah says, so I'm definitely behind on Advent of Code as well. Should I try to catch up or just say, 23 days of code problems isn't gonna happen in 3 hours? I don't think 23 days of code problems is gonna happen in 8 hours, but you know what, Geeky Girl Sarah, you can still play it. Like, you can go as far as you wanna go. Let's see. Geeky Girl Sarah says, does this mean it's a Codesmith Eve stream? Ooh, it's definitely, I was gonna say Advent, but I feel like after Geeky Girl Sarah made puns, I should make a pun? Hey, Pearl. If I call, hold on, let me try this. What is X and what is Y? If I call yield, undefined method plus for nil.nil class. Interesting. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yield, undefined method plus for nil.nil class. I'm probably using yield wrong. Hi, Pearl, please don't stand at my desk. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Let's see. X, Y. And yield gave me undefined method plus for nil.nil class. That's good to know. That's very good to know. And I have the correct one here, right? Day 11 spec 142. Okay. I'm surprised that didn't raise an ear. So I'm gonna modify this because clearly I don't know how to use yield. X increment, Y increment, and we'll just do X plus equals X increment, Y plus equals Y increment. Geeky Girl Sarah says, a pun. Wouldn't that be a lovely gift this time of year? Oh my gosh. Beastex Machina says, I only started on the 20th, but I passed Chael on the leaderboard. That is so mean. Why did you have to say that? That was completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. I hope you know that. Alright, count first neighbors. Instead of doing this lovely yield statement that was so pretty and so nice and didn't work because the variables I wanted were out of scope, and I never get to do anything fancy in Ruby, we'll just pass X increment and Y increment and we'll call it a day. I never get to do anything fancy. It's always pass these increments, make it easy, blah blah blah. Explain this so it's all nice and friendly. My reduces never work. Oh, I still got a 0. Geeky Girl says, oh, you can do it, Chael. You can catch up. You're wonderful. I'm gonna try, but I don't know if it'll work. Herodra says, won't there be an infinite loop if xval equals yval equals 0? Yes, good news. Xval and wait, hang on. Do I have a 0, 0? Oh yeah, I do. We'll just do the same thing we did before. 0. giant y dot 0. Yeah. Alright, count first neighbors. Let's see. Do I only care about these if they're an occupiable seat? Oh, I already do that. I cut all of this count neighbor stuff out if the current is full. Okay. Let me try running this again. It still failed. Why are you failing? Didn't you see that I very kindly removed the X and Y 0 from here? Let's see. What is happening? So we start at 3, 4. You know what? There's only one way to solve this, and it's going to be to binding.pry inside of this while loop. Ooh. Binding.pry. What? Wait. What? We didn't go into this? Oh, I don't start it on the floor. Oh. I need a do while loop. I need to do while loop. I need to do this once and then start wowing. Yeah. Hang on. I'm sorry. Please close your eyes if you cannot stand the bright lights. Iris Layer TV says, what are you doing? I am working on day 11. And I'm looking up do while loops. Right now what I'm trying to do is I have a map and I'm trying to get all of the neighbors on the map in a certain direction. There's more stuff happening, but bringing you up to speed is going to take a really long time, so I'm just going to tell you the part that's like key to understand. Do well. Loop, do, break, if. What? You don't have like a... Ew. Can't I just do like do... No, I have to loop, do, break? That can't be right. Is there a do while loop in Ruby? Well, not info.empty. Oh, use kernel.loop. Huh. Okay, so begin end while is not a Ruby feature because Mats did not like it. That's fine. Alright, so I do... I don't want to break. I don't want to just... It's easy to do a loop and then break. Can I do like... I can do a first equals true. First or the rest of these things. And then first equals false. It's the same amount of extra code. Yay, now it passes. That's what it was. It was the fact that as soon as I opened this up, I was looking at a seat and the seat was not floor, so it didn't increment until it found the next location. It couldn't differentiate between a place that I had found and the place that I started, basically. So it was always reporting on the place that I started. All right, now that we've got a neighbor count, I think it's time to run the entire test suite. Let me make sure that I don't have any binding.pries in here. Let's see. Okay. $137 is still unhappy. What is 137? 137 is the count of all of my inputs. Perfect. So this is count first neighbors. I'm getting a neighbor count on each of these. I'm not adding this neighbor count to anything. I should really be creating a count neighbors count here. So let's do count plus equals neighbor count. And let's do count equals 0. And at the end, let's return count. I'm sure there's a way to do this with Ruby where it's like I create and map and do all this nonsense. I'm just gonna put these counts in here. Nope, undefined method X. Here's X, here's Y, X, Y, X, Y. Undefined method X. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, my example doesn't have an X. Wait, what's this method? Count neighbors. Okay, let X. What was it, 3, 4? We can just copy this one. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And then we just like shift tab this, save it. Yep. Okay, that's what it meant by X is missing. It meant literally I haven't put X in this. Let's see. Okay, passing. Perfect. Let's pass all of them. Oh dear. Undefined method length for nil.no class. Ooh. Ooh. That's interesting and unexpected. I think I'm probably missing a part though. Yeah, I need to change my 4 to 5. Let's see, so if I go to day 11, somewhere in here I have a magical 4. Yeah, and all I have to do here is I literally just have to say count equals part equals 1 question mark 4 colon 5. Yeah, so I get my neighbor count. If my neighbor count is greater than... Yes. Let's see. Tolerance. Okay, neighbors. Now I'll just put count. Return -1 if neighbors greater than or equal to count and current equals occupied. Okay. Yeah. Easy peasy. Everything broke. But that's fine because I'm missing an @ sign. And if I try this again, if undefined method length for nil.no class. In out of bounds, which is 96. Let's see. 96. Hey, Danny Stem is raiding with a party of 24. Hello, Danny Stem. What were you up to on your channel? All right, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. I am working on Advent of Code Day 11. So I'm on part 2. In part 1, we had to find the number of neighbors that we have. If you're familiar with the game of life, it's very similar to that. We've solved the puzzle that determines, hey, I've got this central location and I'm connecting to all of these seats nearby to see whether the nearest seat is occupied or not. We've handled that part. We're working on map transformations, and let's see, we have an error message on our first one. So that's kind of interesting. Thank you for following, Severo. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now, is we're trying to figure out what this error is, and we just cracked a couple of other puzzles. So let's see. You're complaining about what? Block and count first neighbors. Count first neighbors. I want to check my test. So day 11 spec, line 42. Oh, 42 is inside process. Okay, where's my input defined? This is my input. My input should be the same for both of them. And if I head over to day 11 and I put a binding.pry inside of this top level process seat map, maybe? Undefined method length for nil.male class. I'm gonna put a binding.pry in here. I literally think this is a problem with the input. Let's see, thank you for following Jirong. Jirong says in out of bounds. It does say that there's an issue in out of bounds. Hirodra says swapping lines 96 and 97 should help. Oh, I see what you're saying. That might be it. Okay. Quit. Exit. So if I remove my binding.pries, this one, no, binding.pries. Okay, I've removed all my binding.pries. I'm just gonna run the spec and see what happens. Gerbil J says, heard of Crystal. Thoughts? I've heard a lot of thoughts about Crystal. I know a lot of people who are Rubyists enjoy it. I'm enjoying Ruby. I like it a lot. I have 23. That is not the correct answer. I'm supposed to end up with 26 occupied seats. So I think what I can do is I can use some of these. So given the same starting layout as above, and that's L.LL.LLLL. Let me check and make sure that's true. L.LL. Yep, that's the same one. Then what I should expect is for these seats to shift to this. So I'm literally gonna go in here and I've got some specs in here for process seat map, where the seat map updates. And what I can do is I can literally add a context for part 2. And I can say when part 2 do end, and I can say let input, I already have the right input, correct? Yes. And I already have the instance, and I already have the subject. So actually all I need is this. Yeah, so I can paste this, and I can literally say, it updates the seat map. And I can grab this. Ramen Zero says hello. Hello, how are you? Let's see. Yeah, and then I can take all of this, and I can tap it in, close this bracket, close this statement, right? Close this context. What is this closing? That closes that. What does this close? This closes this. What does this close? I'm closing too many things. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Let me try running this. You okay there? Uh-huh, I expected this and I got this. Well, that's not good. Interesting. Wait. This is the wrong thing. Yeah, this is the first one. This is the second one. So this is what I should expect everything to look like. And that's actually the same whether it's part 1 or part 2. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, and then what I should actually do is I should create a third context. Context. Let's see. Second round. Because that's where things actually start getting interesting. Yeah, so we'll put this let block here. It's not let. You know what? I can literally take this entire block where I say second round. I can copy it because they're going to be exactly the same. Because the first round, what we do is we replace every single empty seat with a full seat. So these are all going to be identical. Thank you for following Heaven Destroyed and Stable08. Let's see, welcome. Okay, this instance is what changes though. It becomes this. So I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna hop over here, and it updates the seat map. Yeah, that's different. Then I'm gonna save this. Thank you for following Nathaniel Bumpo and Ramen Zero, welcome. All right, I'm gonna come over here. RSpec, come on, I believe in you. Oh, okay. I'm already seeing some unexpected differences. So I expected L.LL.LL.L, and I got this. Interesting. So let me, I'm gonna put a space at the beginning of each of these so it's nice and lined up properly. So the rules are that you check each direction in a diagonal, right? And I'm gonna look specifically at these examples that failed. Like for example, this one right here, which is fourth from the right on the first row. So this one right here, it should look to the right and see 1, down and see 2, 3, it should go 4, 5, right? Yes, and it did not. Interesting. Okay, so it's all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What that means is I can actually go to this specific example. So I can copy this input, and I can come down here to seat transformation. And I can say context, let's see, for part 2. And I can give it the following input, and I can give it the exact XY location of the one that I want to change. So for X, for Y, this would be 0. And I can even confirm that it's giving me the incorrect answer right now. Geeky Girl Sarah redeemed Hydrate. Womble Monster says, which day are we on now? We're still on day 11, Womble. We're still on day 11. Swarm Collectus is diagonal, vertical, and horizontal? Yup, that's where we're checking for seats. And Nathaniel Bumpo says yes, 5. Wait, isn't 5 like within the threshold? Because we made that change to support that. Oh, no. I hate how like I can tab everything in, but then I have to go in and add an additional space. Okay, there we go. So it's 0, 1, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my X value is 6. And I want to say it is expected. Dot 2 equal, I want this seat to become unoccupied, so -1. I want this seat to convert from occupied to unoccupied. Yes. Okay, now I can run 161. Expected -1 got 0. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. Thank you for following Marty Naspie. Okay. If I count my neighbors, am I counting my neighbors correctly? That's what I want to know. Context for part 2. Oh, you know what? Are we inside the part 2 context? I don't think we are. Okay, let me do let part 2. That's gonna change everything. Like whether it's part 2 or not. Oh, that passed. That passed. Whoa. Context second round. When part 2. Oh. Hey, that did help. That helped me solve the problem, but it wasn't where I expected it to be. I thought we had a code issue, and it turns out we just didn't put let part 2. Okay. 1 example, 0 failures. I'm running. We still have an error here. It's on 42. 42 says 23. 123 is returning the wrong solution. What's interesting though, this is 123, which is returning the seat map, and it's giving me an invalid seat map. It's not inside the context of part 2. Okay, that's a thing that can sometimes happen. When part 2, context second round, it updates the seat map. All right, now that everybody is appropriately part 2, what do we get? 122 still failed, but it's on a different one. It's on this one now. Expected this seat to be unoccupied, or expected this seat to be occupied, and it was unoccupied. Oh, it's only a couple. It's a very small number of seats that are supposed to be occupied and are unoccupied. Okay, that's interesting. And which one is this? This is the second round. Yes, updates the seat map. Now what I can do is I can go into seat transformation and I can poke around with it and see what's happening. Context for part 2. Good. Context, edge seat. I know I have a problem with my logic because I'm returning 26 instead of 23. This is going to use the same input. I think that's good. That's what it's supposed to do. Thank you for following Source Aura. Welcome. New Panda says hi and Merry Christmas if it's already Christmas there. It's still Christmas Eve here, but thank you. Thank you for the well wishes. I'm going to look at let X and let Y. Everything else here should be correct. We're just looking at a different X and Y value. And then what I want them to do is it, curly braces, is expected dot to equal, let me see. So this was occupied and is now unoccupied. So I want it to be 0 for remain occupied. My Y value here is 1. My X value here, I want it to be 0. Perfect. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. Come on. Come on. Got -1. Okay. Got -1. It goes from occupied to unoccupied. This is the sort of testing that we want to see. Now when I look at my count neighbors, I have when part 2. Is this the input? Oh, close. I'm running out of space again. Darn. Oh, you know what I bet it is? I discovered this last time. I have to manually empty my recycle bin of like little videos. My big videos, it doesn't even send them to the recycle bin. Like it doesn't even try. But my little videos. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, empty recycle bin. Yes. Did it work? Do I have more space? Can I record the rest of this episode? Maybe. Rockhat Wire says, hi there. Hello. And December Days Games says, hi, what are you working on? I am working on day 11 of Advent of Code. We have a challenge here. One of our... Uh-oh, did the music stop? Can y'all still hear it? It feels like my computer is stuttering. And I say that because it looks like it's still trying to empty the recycle bin and I can't hear anything. Boogie Lightning says it just stopped. Okay, that is good information to have. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yay! Is this different music? I don't think I've heard this song before in the holiday playlist. That makes me happy. The holiday music kept repeating a little bit. Alright, the music is back. That's good. Thank you for following, Rhino21. Alright, 170 is incorrect. This is good. Let's count your neighbors. Neighbor count. Let's see, part 2, count neighbors, first seat. Is this the one? This is not the one. This is context part 2. I need a different context. This is gonna be with sample input. And I'm gonna do my let. And I'm gonna grab this input from up here. This input. Let's see, and this is the one that's broken? Yes. So it's 0, 1 is the XY. Where'd you go? For part 2. With sample input. There we go. Let input this. Marvelous. Tab this in. Nice. Okay. Let X 0. Let Y 1. Nice. Beautiful. It, curly braces, is expected dot to equal 5. Noob Panda redeems stretch. Marvelous. Thank you for following, you dude. Welcome. Let's run this RSpec while we take a nice little stretching break. Let's do a neck rotation. Those of you who are new to the channel, this is Mr. Stretch from the NHS. This is the man that the NHS has tasked with the enormous responsibility of teaching us about sitting exercises. This stretch is good for improving neck mobility and flexibility. Sit upright with your shoulders down, look straight ahead. Slowly turn your head towards your left shoulder, as far as is comfortable. Hold for 5 seconds and return to the starting position. Then we repeat on the right. We're gonna do 3 rotations. Are you ready? All right. Slowly left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna come back to center and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As far as is comfortable. Don't stretch too far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, last one. Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're supposed to be slow, you dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you already did it, you count too fast. Alright, that's a nice neck rotation. That's one of my favorites. This neck stretch always gets like this little spot that's like in the back of my neck, but that neck rotation's pretty good too. I ran this, and this 226 passed. So when I look at 0, 1, I see 5. But over here, when I look at, where is it? When I look at this part, return -1 if my neighbors are greater than or equal to my count. Oh, wait. Let me see this. People seem to be more tolerant than you expected. It now takes 5 or more visible occupied seats for an occupied seat to become empty, rather than 4 or more. Wait. Hang on a second here. Oh. No? Wait, what? Have I misunderstood this? Okay, what is my expected result in this whole thing? I'm gonna put some spaces in here. Save this. Okay, let me go check through this example again. Edge seat, that's 0, 1. It is expected to empty? Is it? Hang on. All of the seats are occupied. Second round, when part 2, updates the seat map. This one fails. Why does this one fail? Hold on, let's go back to 122. Because I'm starting to lose track of what I'm expecting. In 122, this one. Oh, the first one is supposed to be occupied and is not. Okay. So this one should see 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on, does that make sense? I've got, oh, no, come back. I've got this seat right here. The upper diagonal ends in 0. The upper ends in 1. To the right should be 1. The lower diagonal is 1. And then bottom is 1. Okay. So because the top diagonal is a 0, we end up with 4. Okay, so this 5 is actually wrong. This is expected to equal 4 because we're looking at this slot right here. Okay, and because it's returning 5, we know that it is incorrect. Yes. Unfortunately, that's the annoying part of this. Huh. Okay, so count first neighbors. 0, 1, -1, 0, 1, -1. Count plus equals neighbor count unless x.0, y.0. Neighbor count in here. First equals true. First, not out of bounds, input, floor. Oh, you know what I can do? I can do this. I bet that's what's happening. Let me try running this again. Undefined method this for nil.nil class. Why? Every time. Let's see. Do I put parentheses around these? Does that help? Thank you for following Forindad and Ryan MM. Hello and welcome. Let's try running this. Oh, okay. That worked. That was what it was looking for, apparently. That's not the one that I want, though. The one that I want is actually 226. Okay, I expected 4 and I got 5. That's good to know, even though I shuffled this around. So what I want to do is I want to do a binding.pry. Let's do it at the end of this. I want to know which direction we were going and if we found something. So let's, you know, if we're out of bounds, I don't care. Because that should be working as it's supposed to. Okay, what is x increment? X increment is 1, so that's downwards. And y increment is 1, so that's downwards and to the right. So that one should be true. So if I look at input yx, I get occupied. That's 1. Okay, so if I look at x increment and y increment, x increment is 0, so that's straight out. So that should also be true. Okay, so that's 2. X increment, y increment. So this one should be straight up. Remind me again what straight up was. Vilster says, hi, I'm currently learning Ruby and Rails on a new job I just started. Any tips or common mistakes to look out for? Be very careful with your after and before commit hooks and things like that, because they rarely work the way you expect, and it's very easy for other people to drop updates that circumvent them. That's my advice. Tembo says, hi, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Tembo. All right, so let's look at input XY. What are you? Your remark. Which direction is this? This direction should be to the right, precisely. So far we haven't seen any negatives, which makes sense. Those should go out of bounds. Let's see. And that's 3 so far. Y increment. X increment. This one shouldn't be here. This one we exclude. We do count plus equals neighbor count unless X val, Y val. Unless X dot 0, Y dot 0. Oh, this is supposed to be X val and Y val. Okay. Quit. Exit. Let me remove this binding not pry. And let me test this one again. That's the passing, that's what we want to see. Okay, and if I remove this and I run all of these, it's gonna take a little bit, it's gonna go through everything, and we got 15 examples, 0 failures! Vilster says, thanks, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. If you have more specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. All right, it's time. Day 11 spec. I'm gonna go over here. I've got this let input. It's a very nice let input. This is not where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm gonna take this expected, drop it in here, change it into a 0, and I'm going to run this spec. I wonder if this is the one that's supposed to take really long. 2,199! Ah! Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I can't look. Thank you for following, Ratsack. You dude says this is Java. No, this is Ruby. Okay. Yes! That's the right answer. You're 1 gold star closer to saving your vacation. You've completed day 11! Yay! Go team! Okay. This is really cool. This is really awesome. It is late where I am, and I am tired, and it has been 3 hours to complete 1 day of Advent of Code. Thank you all. Beast Ex Machina says congrats. I appreciate it. Okie dokie. I'm gonna go. I know where my buttons are. I don't lose them every time. Hirojo says great job. Thank you. Stable says, okie dokie! Woo! I thought I would get further, but I did not. And that is okay. Are my credits gonna show up? Are you late? Do you need help? Do you need to push the button again? From Collectors of congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Scientist, for the cheers. Thank you to my moderators, Boogie Lightning and Lifts the Straight Bar, for fighting with those songs this whole time. Thank you to all of my new followers. Welcome. Ratsack, Ryan MM, Foreign Dot, You Dude, Rhino, Source Aura, Martinez Pie, Ramen, Nathaniel Bumpos Table, Heaven Destroyer, Geronk, Savro, Hirodra, Defcon, Kisu Cox D, Fitnessness, oh, nope, Lynchkin, Maroc 22, Unpassant, Master Gun, Talon the Dragon, Womble Monster, T-Latitude, Warlock TV, MJ, Random Numbers. Hi, tons of PCs. I didn't catch up to anybody, but that is okay. Let's see who is online. Have y'all visited my Java friend, Callow Creation? If anybody wants to guide the raid also, now is the time to do it. I give you like 10 seconds because I know there's a delay between when I say things and you hear them. Also, I want to check and make sure I didn't make it on the leaderboard. Hirodra says Bob Ross is online. Geeky Girl Sarah says Callow's good people. Callow is good people. Callow does a lot of stuff with like Unity and like stream overlays and stuff like that, which is really cool. Thank you for following J3B1. All right, I'm gonna hit that raid. And now I can go back and catch the people that I missed, like Kimitsu Monban and Jan Pablo MK. I got Lynchkin though, I think. And Maroc 2022. I don't think I got that one. But I got everybody else. Geeky Girl Sarah says Bob Ross is good people too. Bob Ross is good people. Very, very good people. But at the same time, it looks like our raid actually queued up pretty quickly. So I think I can actually send y'all over there early. This is my last Advent of Code video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this raw stream. And this is the only raw stream I'm going to do this for. I'm gonna upload this raw stream to YouTube, so if you want to see your faces on YouTube, and you want to hear me say your names on YouTube, that's the place to do it. Alright. Bye all you lovely people. Bye.